Hello everyone, it's that teacher here, and today's lesson is going to be on place value. Let's start learning. So, place value is the value represented by a digit in a number based on its position in the number. Now, position is the key word in place value. So, in front of you, you can see a place value chart that I've made for you. Red is the millions column, green thousands, the blue is the ones, and the yellow is the thousandths. Now, we're not going to worry about that today, we'll worry about that in the next lesson. So, the example number that I've put for you is 421,375. So, if we go by order, the 4 would be placed in the hundreds of thousands because 400,000. So, that goes in hundred of thousands column. The next number would be the tens of thousands, which would be the 2. So 420,000 would go in the tens of thousands column. Finally, in the thousands columns, we have 1 because 421,000. So we're still in the thousands column. The next numbers are in the ones column. Now, 375. So I'm going to read you the number now that is in front of you. 421,000. So we're finished with the thousands column. We move on to the ones column. 375. So this example shows you that each number has a place, and that is very important to the sequence. So just quick tips for remembering place value. I always tell my students that place value is very different to number value. So place value is finding exactly what column, what place the number is in. So it's very important that we know the difference. And place value also flows into lots of different subjects. Even when you're in your workbook, writing neatly, place value is actually a very important concept in class. So this is another important piece of information that we need to remember. So you have to include the zeros. A lot of times in maths, 0 is worth nothing, as you can see. However, if you look by the green writing, the number is 1,402,340. However, you need to include these even though sometimes they're worth 0 in other subjects, in other areas. So 1,402,340. If you didn't include those zeros, if you didn't think those zeros had value, the number would be 14,234. So you need to make sure that the 0 is extremely important in place value. And even though technically it's worth nothing, it's still a very key component into the number. Without it, the number is completely different. Now, I'm going to do a few questions for you, and then it's going to be your turn. So, you'll get questions like this in your class, in your test, at home, and we're going to go through it now. A, 8,597. So, before we do this, I've included a place value chart for you to make sure you can follow on. So, when you read the number, it's very important. 8,597. So, what the question is asking you is to determine the place value based on the underlined digit, okay? So 8,597. So if you were to use the place value chart, that would land in 90 is in the tens column. So it would be tens. In B, 12,324. The 2 is underlined there. Now, 12,000, it's not in the tens of thousand, it's in the thousands, okay? So that 2 would be in the thousands. Now, C, 45,678. You can see already the 8 is in the ones column. That one's really obvious because it's the last number, so it has to be in the ones column. Another name for the ones column is units column. Some countries might use units, some countries might use ones, depending on where you live. So ones or units, it's the same thing. That would go in the ones or units column. D, 150,597. The 100,000 would go in the hundreds of thousands column. E, I've already put the answer there, 5,232,429. So the 5 million would have to go in the millions column. If you say it out loud, it's actually quite helpful. So 5,232,429. 5 is the underlying number. So it's quite easy when you say it out loud or think it out loud or think it in your head. So finally, the last number, F, 12,424,311. So we're not in the millions because that would be the 2. So this is the tens of millions. You've gone past 9, you've gone to 10 million. So you're in the tens of millions. 10, 11, 12. So the tens of millions. So now it's going to be your turn. I've included an example number. Hopefully that helps you, which is 402,345. Hopefully that helps you. Now, as always, copy this down, pause the slide here, write your answers in a workbook. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do that. Like I said, pause it here. I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Then I'm going to show you the answers, and hopefully I've guided you and helped you to nail all answers. So we're going to go down with the answers now. As you can see, the 7 is in the ones column. B, the 3 is in the hundreds, 2,324. The C, 65,358, that would be in the tens column. Now the 0 there is in the tens of thousands column. E would be in the hundreds and thousands column because it goes 3,600,000, 52, etc. And finally, F, 42,633,658. So the 4 would go in the tens of million columns. So hopefully you have nailed that. Please let me know if this was helpful. You've done a good job, everyone. That's place value. We'll see you in the next lesson.